Hey everybody, Mesmerized here. And what I wanted to do today was give a little tour of some of the patent numbers that you can find on your character head Pez dispensers. Sort of the classic Pez dispensers that you think of when you're going to have Pez candy. Um, yeah, so I think I've got representative examples of all the different patents that you're going to find on, the character heads. Some patent numbers are going to be unique to other things like the guns, and I don't have all the guns, so I don't know exactly what patents would come on those. And then there's going to be some other licensed items like the candy handers that might have different patent numbers associated with those. But I'm talking about here are the classic character dispensers that have little heads on them, flip back, give you the candy, yum. Yeah, now there's also Pez regular dispensers that don't have a character head on them and they kind of look like a cigarette lighter. Those are called the regulars. And there's one patent number associated with those that you only find on the regulars. And if you want to see that one's super rare. I don't really collect the regulars too much. So, yes, I don't really consider it missing here in the collection. But if you want to see that one, get yourself a copy of Sean Peterson's book. This one's really handy to have if you're a collector, and the third edition is definitely the most complete one, so that's the best one to have. But here on page 130, he's got a picture of, your very rare Italian patent for a regular. If you want to get one of those in your collection, good luck. I think there's only a handful known, and I think you're going to be spending like 5 figures to get that, wrestle that away from some collector. But other than that, these other patent numbers, are all common enough that you can get your hands on them. And the patent number is useful because it gives you a general sense of when that character dispenser was sort of first produced. It's not a perfect science. The patents were issued at one point, and sometimes they don't actually start to get used for years later, like maybe 2 to 3 years before a dispenser will actually come out with that patent. And then, of course, you don't know how long they use that patent for. They're sort of good for 20 years, but Pez generally doesn't keep using them that whole time. They come out with a different patent to cover some other part of their mechanism, and then they start putting that onto dispensers. But let's just jump right into it because there's a lot of them. All right, so generally collectors consider the first patent number that showed up on a dispenser to be the DBP patent, the Deutsches Bundespatent 818829, issued out of Germany sometime in the early 50s. I don't know that anyone's pulled the official patent, this exact date on it, but it might have come out right around the time as the next one did as well. But most people think that that was the first one that shows up on dispensers that are actually coming out of the factories. So people call that the first patent number. All right. Next to that, we've got the first U.S. patent number where Pez gets patented from the U.S. patent system. And it's called the 2.6 patent. So you can see that guy right there. And then later, 1968, Pez gets a new version of the U.S. patent. Like I said, I don't know, they tend to get new versions issued to cover different changes in the mechanism for how they're producing Pez dispensers. So 1968, you get the 3.4. Okay, and then 1974, we're going to get the 3.8 patent. And this one's a little bit unique because the 3.8's only found on stems marked made in the USA. The USA factory is the only one that used it. All the USA dispensers are going to be marked with that patent number, so you're not going to find them on other country stems. All right, and even though this video is about the patent numbers, I will show a couple of dispensers that don't have any patent number on them. There's different types of stems that don't have a patent number on them. This one's one of the made in Austria ones. This particular dispenser, the ones that say made in Austria with no patent, those are thought to have been manufactured around the mid-70s. We know Bicentennials commonly have them, and they've been found, mint in package with the bicentennial characters, and those, of course, were issued around the bicentennial year of 1975 or 76. So right in there. So it's thought that maybe those were some sort of a transition between for the Austria factory at least, between using the 3.4 patent and using the 3.9 patent. Maybe the new mechanism was there, but it was still patent pending, and so they didn't officially put it on the stems yet. Not exactly sure why, but anyway, if you find those made in Austria's with no patent number, you're probably looking at something from the mid to late 70s. All right, next up we've got the 3.9 patent issued around 1976. And the 3.9 patent is starting to take us to more modern dispensers, because you can find these now both without feet but also with feet, because they're going to use this patent number all the way into the early 90s, so a good long time. You'll find 3.9 patents. Yeah. All right, so then a little bit after that, David Welch's book says that around 1980, Pez started producing some dispensers in a Mexico factory. And so you can find these. And the Mexico uses, these are Hecho in Mexico. Patent numero 121242. You can just barely read that there. It's pretty light strike. So we think around 1980. Nobody's actually, that I've seen, ever pulled the patent information for that one. I've tried to do some AI deep searches to find any text about that patent number out of Mexico, but I can't find it. It's probably not on the web. If somebody knows how to get patent text from some Mexico database, I'd love to hear it. Even if we had to pay some money, like $50, $75 to go get the patent from some law company in Mexico, that'd be kind of really useful, helpful information for the collecting community. I also have another example of another no patent number stem here. You can also find the Hecho in Mexico, stuff that doesn't have a patent number at all on it. So like I said, there's different no patent stems. Certainly there's a couple others, but I'm not really going to go over those with this video. All right, next up, 1990. This is the 4.9 patent issued 1990. Maybe it doesn't start getting used for a couple years after that, but this is now taking us into the more modern era of Pez collecting, when the early 90s Pez conventions started to sprout up. This patent number is also kind of interesting because it's the only one I've ever seen printed on a stem with ink. So here this witch has the 4.9 patent actually printed on it. So the witch, as far as I know, is the only one that has a patent number printed, not really embossed as part of the mold. Also 4.9s, you should note that, they have feet. All the characters tend to have feet on them. But you can find them without feet for the dispensers that aren't really supposed to have feet. So you can get a 4.9 patent on the hearts or the retro regulars, and Pez didn't really want those to have feet, so they don't have feet on them. Then the last couple patents here are the more modern patents. You get a 5.9 patent issued around 2000. Maybe dispensers start to show up in 2002 with the 5.9 on them. See that? And then about a decade later, you get the 7.5 patent issued. Here. There we go. And then finally, the last patent that's in use right now, that's currently used, is the 11.4 patent. In there. Good. So that's all the different patent numbers you're going to find. Can you find one character that covers all those patents? I think you can. In fact, I may have it with Mickey Mouse. The key is you have to have that Mexico patent, and there's not a lot of characters that have that one, but Mickey's certainly one of them. Mickey goes back all the way to DBP days. They've been making Mickeys different forms all the way, on into current. have some of my current Mickeys that are only in box sets, and I didn't really want to open them up and pull them out just for this. But Mickey, I think you could find on all the patents. Probably also Donald and Pluto. Those are going to be ones that are also on the Mexican patents. Maybe Goofy. I know Goofy does have some DBP dispensers. Goofy might have a Mexico one. I've never seen one myself with the patent number for Mexico on Goofy, but it might exist out there. But that might be it, just those 4, because the other Mexico guys generally weren't around older all the way back to DBP, or they didn't keep making them newer. Yeah, so the only other thing I wanted to mention is I've got one other dispenser here that just doesn't fit well into this timeline. So I've got this lamb, or Music Maker lamb, and it's on a 3.4 patent, 3410455, but it's got feet on it, and so it's a little weird, because do you put it sort of over here, 1968, with the 3.4 patents, or do you put it over here around mid-1980s, when they started to add feet onto the dispensers, right? So in the US, feet showed up around 1987 with the Smurfs. In Europe, the feet showed up first with the Olympic dispensers, the Olympic Wolves, in 1984. But yeah, it'd be weird to have this 3.4 patent on a footed dispenser, sort of. So my guess, I don't know, this is just a guess, is maybe you put it over here, sort of around 1982 or something. I'm thinking maybe they were going to do some production test sample runs of feet, and so they grabbed an old mold out of their archive and modified it to add the feet on it, and they didn't care maybe at the time whether it had the current patent or not. So if they're just grabbing an old mold, it's not currently being used for production, then just grab one, and it could have the old 3.4, 2.6. They didn't really care. They made some production samples, and they sent them out or did something with them, and these have now made their way into collectors' hands. But best guess, I don't know. They could have run these much earlier somewhere. So I don't know that anybody knows for sure. That's one of the fun things about Pez is people don't really know for sure on a lot of this stuff. It's best guesses. So, all right, well, that's enough about patents. So go collect some Pez.